Hi everyone. Today video is on. We are going to do a demo on Azure Active Directory business to client. Okay, authentication in MVC application. So first you have to log into the Azure portal. Okay, so you can get a 1 month free subscription if you are totally new user. Else you have to take the paid subscription. Okay, in paid subscription also there are a lot of services which we can consume free for certain limit. So Azure Active Directory also you can consume freely for certain amount of user authentication logins. Okay. So once you have created a Azure account with your Outlook email, you are going to land on home page. Okay. Now what we have to do means we have to click on directories plus subscriptions. Okay. So once you clicked on, please select on all directories. Okay. If you have nm different types of directories, you can see a switch button on them. Since I have only one directory, so I am good to work with this directory. Okay. Now back to home page and click on subscriptions. Okay. Here I have pay as you go subscription. This is my subscription. Okay. Once click on it, resource providers. Okay. So here you can observe the all the registered resources for your subscription. Okay, in that to work with our Azure Active Directory B2C authentication technique, we should have Microsoft Azure Directory should be registered. Okay, if it is not registered, please make sure to register. You can select any directory and register it. Okay, click here for register. So we have to register Microsoft Azure Active Directory. Okay, that is one of the required step. Okay, so let's go to home page and now let's create a resource. Okay, so resource is nothing but a container. Okay, now here you can search like Azure Active Directory B2C. So select it. Now here you can create the Azure Active Directory resource. Okay, so click on create. So if you have any existing subscription, you can link the existing one. But here I am going to create a new Azure AD B2C tenant. Okay. So here you can give your organization name. I am simply giving my name. Okay. And here you have to give the subdomain of onmicrosoft.com. So I will give same subdomain and country region for the server. I am leaving default one. You can choose whatever you want. Okay. In the drop down from the drop down. Okay, and you have to select here your subscription. My subscription is pay as you go, and here we have to create a resource group. If you have already a resource group, any existing resource group, you can select it or you can create. I am creating the new resource group. Okay, I have created resource group. So next click on review and create. Okay, here it will show all the form details we have just created previously. Now click on create button. Okay, so here it is processing to create a tenant for our Active Directory, Azure Active Directory B2C. Okay, it will take few seconds. Okay, now here we can see our tenant has been created successfully. Okay, so we have to go to our new tenant. You can click either here or else you can go again to directories and subscriptions. Okay, so here it is not showing any new directory or subscription, right? Just once again reload the entire page. Now you can see my newly created tenant subscription here. So here you can see switch, right? Click on the switch. Okay, now I have successfully switched to my new tenant directory, that is Naveen Bomidi. Okay, Now go to home page, and here you can search for Azure AD B2C. Don't select Azure Active Directory. Okay, Azure AD B2C, Azure Active Directory Business to Client Authentication. Okay, click on it. Now in this Azure AD B2C, first we have to register our app. So for that, under Manage menu, you can see App Registration. Okay, so click on New Registration. Okay, so I want to create MVC, right? So I simply name my app name like Web App 1. Okay, and here you can use default identity type. Okay, radio button. And here we have to select our MVC application, right? So I am selecting web. And for now, here what I will do, I need to provide a domain. So I will my MVC will run on my local machine, right? So I can give a local uh, address also. Okay, this is my MVC application URL. Okay, once I will create my MVC application in my local. When I run the application, whatever the port the application will generate for locally running, that I will update again here. Okay, for now, just for sake of completing the registration, I am giving 7000 as my default port. Later, I will change it to my original port number. Okay, and here make sure to select the grant admin consent and open ID and offline access permissions. Okay, now click on the register. Now our application has been creating. Okay, now it is successfully created. This is the application that was registered under Azure AD B2C. Okay, and here we can observe the application ID and tenant ID and endpoints. Okay, see, this is the endpoint with them in later as a configurations. Now click on authentication tab. Okay, and scroll down, and here you can see select the tokens you would like to be issued by the authorization endpoint. Okay, I want access token and ID token. Access token is OAuth 2.0 standard. ID token is OpenID. So it is Azure Active Directory can use both the combinations. Okay, and here please click on save. Then only our changes get saved to the Azure portal. Just go back to our Azure AD B2C. Okay, and here under policies you can see user flows. So in Azure AD B2C, what is user flow means? User flow means like login process, like user sign in, sign up, password reset, registration. All these pages can be configured under user flows. Okay. Now what we will do, click on new user flow. And here there are set of default user flows where we can set up like sign up and sign in, profile editing, password reset, and sign in, sign up separately. All these are default user flows. Okay. So here what we will do, we will use the template of sign up and sign in. Okay. And bottom, select the recommended only and click on create. Okay. Now we have to assign a name for our user flow. I will name like, and here I can select local account, email, and remaining things I can leave default things. Okay. Fifth point is the main thing, user attributes and token claims. So user attribute means UI elements. Okay. Text boxes. So token claims means after login, what kind of claims uh, Azure A2, Azure B2C need to add to our token. So we can select here. We can select text box fields and token claims as well. Okay. So here what I will do, I will click on show more. Okay, I will select like I want email address. Okay, and display name, and I want a country. Okay, those are my text boxes I want to display on my login form or registration form, and I want them as well as a claims into my token. Okay, all these things will be added as a claim into your access token. Okay, I want to simple form with the city text box, email address text box, and display name text box. So I'm just clicking OK. Okay, and I'm going to click on create. Okay, flow has been successfully created, and you can see here the flow we have just created. Okay, so that's all the basic configuration for Azure Active Directory B2C authentication at the Azure portal. Now I can create one MVC application in my local. Okay, here I am using .NET CLI command for creating my project. So command is like .NET space new and template type, that is MVC application -o, and next I have to declare my project name, next space -au, that flag represent authentication, and type of authentication individual B2C. Okay, let's create the project. Project has been successfully created. Let me open it in Visual Studio Code Editor. Okay, here is my project, and target framework is .NET 6. Okay, and here we can observe few important packages. So those are like Microsoft Identity Web, Microsoft Identity UI. So basically these two libraries are involved with our Azure Active Directory authentication. And here you can also see some additional Microsoft libraries like JWT Barrier library and OpenID Connect library. Okay. Now if you go to the program.cs, here we have to understand few services that are by default registered, like add authentication and add Microsoft Identity Web App. So these going to be helpful for opening or interacting with the Azure Active Directory B2C authentication. Okay. So here you can see the configurations that are loading from the Azure AD B2C in the app settings. So go to the app settings, and these things we have to provide for our authentication. Okay, this will be the URL of our authentication. So where we can find means, go to our portal. So here in the portal, in the Azure AD B2C, go to app registrations, and here select your app and click on endpoints. So this domain will be our instance. Okay, and client ID. So client ID is nothing but our registered application ID. So that is this one. Okay, copy that one. We have registered, right? This is for our application. Okay, and a domain. Domain is nothing but, okay, you go to Azure AD B2C. Let's go to overview. So domain name. Okay, copy this one. So paste it in the domain. Okay. So here signed out callback path. So here what you have, if you observe, slash sign out slash some B2 issue. So this is nothing but name of our user flow for sign in. Okay. So we have created one user flow, right? For both sign in and sign out. So I can assign that name here. And this sign out path is default path. We cannot change it. Okay. Because inbuilt library will use this path. So we have to just need to change this name. Okay. So go to Azure portal, and go to your user flows in Azure AD, and here you can see, right, I'm going to copy my user flow name. I have selected a template for both sign in and sign up. If you recall, there are several options, right? Default options. In that I selected sign up and sign in, right? So that is why I can give same name in the sign out callback path. Okay. Okay. And sign up policy ID also I can give the same. I haven't created any reset password policy and edit policy, right? For this demo, I am just ignoring them. So if you want to assign here, if you recall, let me show here. You have to create edit profile and password profile, just we did in sign up, sign in. Then you will, once you create, you will have their own names, right? So those names should be given here for reset password policy ID and edit password policy ID. For this demo, I am not going to use them. So I am leaving just default names. Okay. And callback path will be sign in OIDC. So this is the default path one. We should not change. Okay. Them and run the application. My MVC application is up and running and my port number is 7172. Right? Copy this and go here and go to Azure AD B2C and go to app registrations and select your app. Okay. And in authentications, here you can see web and here you can see the URL, right? So here I can assign a URL. Okay. So and here in the application we have a callback path, right? Sign in OIDC. So this path also need to be added here. Okay. And save them. And one thing I want to say, this redirect URL, which is nothing but after signing, the URL that will be redirected back to our website. Okay. So this sign in OIDC is a fixed path. Okay. One thing is, once you click on save, please wait for few minutes because it will take few minutes to reflect. Okay. So after waiting that, you can test in our local MVC application. Now click on sign in. See, now I am redirected to domain. You can see navinbomdi.b2clogin.com, and you can here see our domain name as well. Okay, so these are all nothing but the configurations we did in the our application. So all these configurations are generated as a URL by the libraries that are nothing but Microsoft Identity Web and Microsoft Identity Web UI. Okay. Now here I am seeing the login form. So I don't have any account, right? So I will sign up first. So this is the sign up form. If you observe email address, new password, confirm password. Okay. You can see here city and display name. Did you remember? If you go to our Azure portal, go to Azure AD B2C and go to user flows. Can we edit it? No, we cannot edit it. So let's try to create another one. Don't and go to create. And if you observe last option, like user attributes and token, right? What I have said, these attributes are nothing but fields, right? So previously what I selected city and display name, email address, right? So only those text boxes displaying here. So if you select here more information will be added in the UI. That is nothing but collection attribute. Okay. So let me give my email address and send me a verification code to confirm my email. Okay. Now I go to my email, just copy the code and verify my email and Now here I can set my password. Here and I want okay. Let me create an account. Okay, I'm successfully logged into my uh, account. Okay, because I haven't enabled any two-factor authentication, right? So it is directly logged into my account. So if I click on sign out, I will be sign out. Okay, signed out successfully. If I click on sign in again, and if I use my credentials, just I have created. Okay, and log in again. And if you observe, go to applications and click on cookies. So here is the login cookie, ASP.NET Core cookie. So ultimately, Azure Active Directory also generates a cookie for us for our authentication. Okay, so that's all about the Azure Active Directory business to client authentication process. I hope this video has delivered some useful information about the Azure AD B2C authentication integration in a MVC application. If you like my video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Soon we will meet with the new videos. Until then, signing off.